So in this module of the free course that I'm putting on my YouTube channel, teaching everyone how to do email marketing, I'm going to show you guys how to build a abandoned product sequence or abandoned product flow. Some people might call it the browse abandonment flow. It's actually one of the super easy retargeting flows to do, and it's going to generate around 2 to 3% extra revenue every single month for your brand. And it's going to generate anywhere from 10 to 20% of what your abandoned checkout flow generates. 10 to 30% actually, depending on your brand and your niche. So how I'm gonna break this module down is I'm gonna first of all show you the prerequisites that you need to have in order to actually build this flow. Because again, similar to the abandoned cart flow, it's not a metric that by default is enabled in Shopify. However, this is so much easier to actually integrate with Klaviyo compared to the abandoned checkout where you need to do code and that kind of stuff. And then I'm gonna show you some content that I've done in the past for a brand that we worked with, and I'm gonna show you how to actually build the flow live with me inside of Klaviyo. So let's dive into it. First things first, you're gonna wanna go into the integrations section of your Klaviyo account, and you do that by going over to the bottom left-hand side in the corner where it says your brand name, and click into integrations. And there you're gonna find Shopify. You're gonna click into here, and you're just gonna make sure that this viewed product tracking is checked, right? And Klaviyo app embed is enabled on your Shopify store. If this is like a yellow or red icon right here, then you'll just need to click this part right here and just make sure the slider button on Shopify is like ticked, hit save on Shopify, and then make sure this is ticked right here. And then you're gonna hit update settings. Obviously for this brand specifically, this test account, it's already done. And once this is completed, you're ready to build the flow essentially. Now the flow that I'm gonna demo is for this brand right here that we did a while back. You can see this is the content. We did a 3 email sequence. First email is just reminder based, showcasing the various products that they have. Email 2 and 3 is more so with a bit of urgency, as well as implementing a discount. You can see we add some urgency through a countdown timer here, which is added dynamically. So that's why we have some blank space here to save for the countdown, and the content is fairly straightforward. And if you're wondering how to actually design templates like this, watch a few modules back. I actually showed you guys exactly how to write copy for e-commerce brands, as well as how to do the email designs itself within Canva, so that it's like super easy. Even if you're a beginner, you can do it within Canva. Figma, it's like slightly harder. You're not gonna be able to achieve the same level of detail essentially that we have, but you're gonna be able to get somewhat close. So if you're a brand sub 50K a month doing it in-house, Canva is good enough. Or if you're just a freelancer looking to get some quick results for your clients, Canva is kind of okay. But to help you along, what I've actually created is this swipe file with over 250 email templates that you could just look at, get some inspiration from, and get an idea of how we actually structure our email. So if you want access to this file, just make sure to subscribe to my newsletter, and the first email I send you is gonna have like a link to a bunch of resources, this being one of them. It's completely free to sign up, and I'm also gonna be sending out weekly e-commerce growth tips. So yeah, check it out. Now, let me show you how to actually structure the flow within Klaviyo. So first of all, you're gonna go over to the flows tab and then click create flow. And when you come to this section, you're gonna search browse abandonment, right? And you're gonna hit standard Shopify flow, and you're just gonna name this plethora browse abandonment. And you can see on the prerequisite side, Shopify integration is enabled. Your set view product data is being synced at the moment, so this is awesome. You wanna make sure both these are ticked and green, then you can move on to the next step. So by default, the viewed product flow is only 1 email long. However, you can extend this to between 2 to 3 emails. It doesn't need to be super long, especially if you have the other abandoned flows live on the account. And if you want to know what those abandoned flows are or how to actually build those, you can find other modules within this free course that shows you exactly how to do that. So first things first, you're going to double check the filters, right? Checkout started 0 times since starting this flow, placed orders, that's fine. We're also going to exclude people who add to cart as well, and reduce the number of days down to 10 to 14 days. You generally don't want to have 30 days because 30 days is a bit too long. However, I find that anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks, that to be kind of the sweet spot for not sending people the repeated flows. So we're just gonna add another profile filter, which is basically just gonna be what someone has or has not done, choose metric, add it to cart, boom, 0 times since starting this flow, and we're gonna hit save. So once this is all done, I like to reduce this delay. Generally speaking, you can do like anywhere from like 1 hour, 30 minutes to like 2 hours. The important thing is the second delay. So the second delay should be 24 hours minus whatever the first delay is. So if this delay was 2 hours, then this delay should be 22 hours. And if this delay was 1.5 hours, it should be 22.5 hours, right? So let's say I set this to 1 hour, 30 minutes, then hit save. This delay should essentially be 22 and 30 minutes, right? The idea is they should total to 24 hours. Now, in terms of the email setup itself, you want to always scroll down to the bottom and disable smart sending. This is just not necessary. I know Klaviyo likes to do it for like the first flow, but I'm not a huge fan. Ideally, you want to maximize the volume, and if your deliverability is correctly managed, smart sending in terms of the abandoned flows should not really be enabled. So once you have that done, you're then going to edit the subject line and the preview text. Obviously, just put something relevant. It doesn't need to be anything too crazy, you know. Sticking with the standard ones always work. It doesn't really matter. Did you see something that you liked? The reason why I don't actually like using the Klaviyo's defaults is actually because most brands are going to use this exact one. So I would just like to, you know, change it up a little bit. So I might say something like, if I was selling fashion, for example, right? Did you want to try this on? Something like that, right? Because people can order it, try it on, return it, etc. Right? Did you want to try this on if it was a fashion brand, or saw something you liked for your lashes? Because in this case, we're working with a brand called Lola Lashes, right? So saw something for your lashes, that could be an example, right? But you essentially just want to keep the subject line relatively generic, make sure smart sending is off, hit save, and we can customize the content. For the template itself, you just want to go ahead and hit edit. Obviously, this is like a demo account, so I'm not actually gonna like turn anything on live. But essentially what you want to do is you want to delete this section right here, delete basically everything except the dynamic segments and the buttons, right? So you're going to want to delete all of this, and you're going to want to drag and drop the image blocks. Because how we're going to export the emails is we're actually just going to upload them as JPEGs. It's really important as JPEGs because PNGs will have transparent backgrounds, and as a result, your emails are going to look really horrible in dark mode. Now, I know there's a lot of email marketers and freelancers watching this that are going to be in the comments saying, oh yeah, you shouldn't upload images because it's like bad for deliverability. I'll be honest, everyone that said that to me, after I've spoken to them, they don't manage that many accounts. They don't do that much revenue for e-com brands. I'm telling you, this way that I'm showing you guys how to do it is actually the best way, because if you do it through HTML, it's not really worth it for the ROI on your time. Super time consuming and really difficult to actually nail the aesthetic of the email. So I always like to export it in terms of images. We don't really see it affect load time. Like, this is not 2015 where everyone's still using like 3G or whatever. Like, we have 4G, 5G internet. Like, stuff loads quickly now, right? It doesn't really matter. And in terms of deliverability, if you're managing 90% of the deliverability stuff correctly when it comes to segmentation and compliance, honestly, having images is not really going to affect it, especially if you have the correct alt text, etc., right? So before you guys go in the comment section and blame me for that, just know that I don't really care. We do a great job. So over on Figma, how you're going to want to export this, again, as always, is with the slice tool. So to get the slice tool, you just hit S on Figma, and you're just going to slice up the designs, right? So I'm just going to modify that, boom, leave some space for the dynamic product, and we're just going to modify the slice right here again. We might want to shorten this one a little bit, you know, just get it like this, nice and tight, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom. Right here, we're going to export this as a slice. We're going to do another slice, which is like, oops. We're just going to make sure to don't overlap any of the slices, right? And then the last slice is right there, and then we're going to do a final slice right here. Okay, perfect. So now that we have all of the slices, we're just going to essentially export these one by one, right? So we're going to take a look at this slice right here. This was the one that I just created, export slice 1, LL, abandon, browse, email 1, slice 1. So we just call this 1.1 for slice 1. Copy the title, boom. Slice 2, we're going to look at this one right here, boom. Slice 4, we're going to export this, export, boom. slice, replace, and then we're going to export slice 5, which is this one. Yep, export it. We're going to call this point 2 so that we know exactly how to actually load it. Slice 3, export, load the name, point 3, and then slice 7. So actually we need to find this slice right here. So slice 7 is actually slice 5. We're going to find the other slice, missing slice, because this was done previously. Okay, I can't seem to find the previous slice, so we're just going to slice it ourselves. So it's right here, and we're going to go right here. There you go. Boom. And we're going to export this, 4, and then we're going to export slice 7 as a 5, boom, 5. So now that we have all of the slices, essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to upload them one by one, right? So we're going to upload this one, and then add the alt text, boom. Alt text is you have free shipping on orders over £30. You have great taste. In terms of alt text, honestly, you just want to keep it fairly simple. Just like take the copy from the image itself. And then in terms of link address, you can see it links it to the organization URL. You actually want to link it to some sort of collections page, right? So I would actually discard this button right here. And then we're going to look at what the second section is. So we're going to import this section right here, right, in terms of the button and beneath it. So we're going to drag in another image and upload image, boom, slice 2, you get the picture. So when it comes to the slice 2, it's basically you want to upload the image for this Sapphire hybrid liner kit in terms of the CTA. So you're just going to put get Sapphire hybrid magnetic liner kit. And you can see basically that's just the same process repeated, right? In terms of link address, we want to add the link to the product page of this. And then that's it. We basically just add in all of the slices in sequential order. So I won't bore you with that. I'll just do a time lapse of me adding it real quick. Adding the alt text, rose, quartz, hybrid magnet. Okay. Make sure to add the link. There you go. Then we're going to go back, add another block. There you go. Image, upload image. I think this is 4. Looks good, and then finally we do this section right here. Oh, done. For this, link to collections page, right? So now if I were to preview this email, you can see it dynamically pulls in the image and it looks pretty good for the most part, right? However, you'll notice that in the dynamic section, why is this green, right? Why are the font incorrect? And why is the picture like this? So what we want to do is we actually want to customize this by going into the dynamic segment itself, and we're going to modify the image, right? So first of all, we're going to go over to the image and make sure it's correct. We can put image for the alt text, boom, that's sorted. And then we're gonna go over to the text and we're just gonna customize the font, right? So obviously we don't necessarily have the exact font for the brand. So we're just gonna go ahead and find something relatively similar. So you can see at the top right here, it looks like some sort of Poppins medium maybe as like the headings. And then obviously we don't really want this like handwritten typography. So in which case we're just gonna use another Poppins font, but we're gonna make it standard, right? So we're gonna go ahead and search for Poppins, and we're gonna go for like a normal Poppins type of font. And then in terms of the link right here, you can see it's like link URL, but we wanna make sure the text is actually black. So select text color, we're just gonna go ahead and select black, boom, and add the link back in, apply. You can see it looks right for the most part. It's just that because this is a demo account, I set it originally to my agency colors. But if you were to set this on an organizational level, this link underline should appear to be whatever you really want it to be. So now if I were to preview the email again, you can see that for the most part, it looks a lot more natural, obviously minus the green lines. And also, obviously, because this is like a demo store, it's not pulling Lola Lash's products, but if it was, it's gonna look much more natural, right? So you're gonna then go ahead and hit save, and then just go ahead and configure the rest of the emails within this flow, and you can go ahead and then just turn it on live, update action statuses, hit it live, and you're done, right? That's literally as simple as it is. Obviously, if you're a solo founder trying to do all of this, it could be a bit challenging. So if you're a brand that's doing 50K a month or more in revenue, feel free to just book in a call with myself and we can kind of discuss potentially outsourcing all of this stuff to us. Not just this flow, we'll do all of your other flows as well as campaigns and like managing everything in your email and SMS marketing department. So yeah, hope you guys found this module in this free course useful. And as I said, we'd love to potentially work with your brand, and I'll see you guys in the next module.